We've all been there, feeling like you're living the same day over and over again, with joy as a distant memory, feeling like no matter what you try or how hard you try it to create change in your life, nothing seems to work. And hearing yourself talk about and whine about the same problems over and over until you realize that you've become that friend. These are just a few of the symptoms of being stuck in a rut. Like many of you, I grew up with the experience and example that my parents set for me. My father, while a good man, was a deeply unhappy man. He spent most, if not all, of his adult life in a rut. I saw the damaging effects that had on his life and on the lives of those around him. And I find that the same tendency is present in me, the tendency to be stuck in a rut. So today, I want to share with you a simple 3-step formula for getting yourself out of a rut and some tools to help make that a little easier. The process begins with feeling your heartfelt feelings. Very simple and radical at the same time. Radical because our heart is often on a different page than our mind and ego when it comes to decisions for our life. It's often much easier to just bury your head in the sand and pretend that everything's fine. I once was offered and accepted a job that was great on paper. It had a nice 6-figure salary, some prestige and power, and there was a future of opportunity and stability. So we relocated to another state, and a couple months into the experience, I had gained weight, I wasn't sleeping well, I was snipping at my husband, and I was basically exhibiting all the signs of a very unhappy life. My heart was screaming at me, "Michele, this isn't what you want." But I was too busy closing my ears to my heart and pretending that I was singing along with the voices of money and security and the expectations that I felt others were putting on me. It's not always easy to listen to our heart, and when we deny it, we end up in behaviors that are unhealthy. Eating too much sugar or just too much food in general, alcohol, drugs. These are all symptoms of not listening to your heart. And I believe that one of the main reasons that we get stuck in a rut is because we deny our heartfelt feelings. So how do you listen to your heart when there are so many other voices in the mix? The voices of money and convenience and expectations, either from within or without. How do you hone in and listen to your heart? One technique that I've found useful is called self-inquiry meditation. As you're getting into your meditation practice, you can introduce a question. What is my heart's desire? Repeat it silently to yourself a few times with no expectation of an answer. You may receive an answer, and that's great, and you may not receive an answer, and that's great too. The point of self-inquiry is to be with the question. If you get an answer right away, awesome. If you don't get it right away, know that an answer will come, perhaps later that day, a week, 2 weeks down the road. If you ask with sincerity and you listen with open ears, your heart will speak to you. Once you hear what your heart truly wants, the next step in the 3-step formula is to respond with action. You've heard the call for help, so to speak, and now you need to act. And acting is not thinking. Just because you've listened to your heart and you think you understand what it's saying, that's not enough. Just as if any child that you care about shared with you a fear or a concern, you don't just leave it there. You try to work with the child to do something to change the situation. And it's the same with you and your heart. It has spoken, and now it's up to you to act. When I finished graduate school, I was falling into this slacker mode. I wasn't ready for a full-time career, and I didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. So I had a temporary situation that was kind of comfortable. And an opportunity came for me to go and do some volunteer work in the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador. And my heart sang, yes, That's what I want to do. And I was on board. But I had some fear. I had never done anything like that. I didn't know what it meant to go and live for an indefinite period of time in a foreign country. And I was comfortable in my familiar rut. The days went by, they turned to weeks, they turned to months, and I realized that this opportunity required me to take action. And it wasn't until I purchased the airline ticket and took that first tangible step towards my heart's desire that I felt like I had created a new path for myself. How do you figure out the right response? Well, another technique is self-inquiry again. Just ask the question, what action can I take now to fulfill my heart's desire? You can ask it in meditation, you can journal it, or you can just keep the question alive as you're showering in the morning or going throughout your day. But be sincere and listen for the response and take action. Any action to get you out of the rut is what's important here. The third step in this 3-step process is to keep moving forward. Don't look back. It's very easy at this stage in the process for doubt to creep in. And a lot of times that doubt comes from the voices of friends and family that are close to you, offering their unsolicited opinions and advice. But they don't know your heart, and they maybe have their own version of who you are and what you should be doing. You can't listen to them. It's up to you. You have to stay true to your course. An example here is something that most of you can relate to, and that's when a relationship has reached its end and you know that you want to break up, and you finally have made that choice and that decision to break up. And then you talk to your significant other, you bump into each other, and you're both sad, and you decide that you're going to go ahead and get back together. You're taking a step backwards. And probably, if your experience was anything like mine, it didn't go very well that second or even third time around. Once you get a little momentum going, you want to build more momentum so that you can get enough traction to get yourself out of the rut. And when you look back or you sit on the fence, you're wavering and you are undermining all of the efforts that you've made to get yourself out of this rut. I find the best tool for staying focused and moving forward is to continue using the same tools. Continue dialoguing with your heart. What is my heart's desire? What action can I take now to fulfill my heart's desire? Stay true to that process and it will help guide you. And eventually you find that you've taken the leap. You're jumping from the familiar, from the rut, into the unknown. And it can be scary. You don't know what's in the unknown. And 2 things can happen. 1, everything goes great and you're happy, you live happily ever after, for a time anyway. Or things don't quite go as planned, but you have the wisdom and the experience of having followed your heart and gotten yourself out of the rut. Remember, it's your responsibility and yours alone to keep yourself happy. And a key component of happiness is listening to your heart. A happy heart is a happy life. An unhappy heart is an unhappy life. Nobody's going to do this for you. You are the steward of your own heart. So keep listening to your heart's desire. Keep taking action, however small but significant, in the direction of your heart's desire. And keep setting a shining example for yourself and those around you of how to flow and grow with life.